welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR, Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's gonna know what hit it after tonight. Look at the confidence radiating off this superstar.
All I see is an overconfident superstar who's throwing away the match by not following up. What a counter! I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's gonna go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that that would be no easy feat.
Candice,
it looks like he's taking his opponent for a ride, King.
And that's one ride you don't ever want to take. The last ride.
This capacity crowd is making their opinions known tonight.
They sure are, JR, and I love to hear it.
A textbook reversal there.
I don't think these superstars have any intention of taking it easy on each other tonight.
That's not what they signed up for, King, and quite frankly, I think these fans would be disappointed if they didn't go all out.
Well, that's easy for the fans to say. They've never set foot inside that ring.
No, but they spend their hard-earned dollars to watch what goes on inside it, and without them, we'd all be out of a job. Is there any superstar in WWE who can go toe-to-toe with that man, the Undertaker? I don't think there is.
Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? There's no way the Undertaker's gonna win this match. Just look at him.
Oh, I am, King. I'm looking at one of the most awesome... My God! What an impact! A human skull slammed against those unforgiving steel ring sticks.
That'll ring your bell for sure, JR. And if this keeps up, someone had better ring the bell and stop this thing. He just stole his opponent's finishing move. Talk about adding insult to injury, JR. So, how do you think this one's going to turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the WWE.
But you've got to have a guess, right?
I might, but I'd rather keep it to myself if it's all the same to you, King. I think this crowd has decided to exercise the right of free speech.
God bless the First Amendment, JR.
Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me since the start of the match.
Oh, really? Well then, why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King? Oh man, this is a precarious position to be in.
And that's why. Getting a forehead ground into your face is just about the most painful thing I can think of. Oh my gosh! Can you imagine getting beaten with your own finisher, JR? Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat like when you're in the middle of a slobber knocker. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, You might run like a scalded dog with a case of the limber tape.
All right, enough! I'm getting a translator before I have to come out here with you again.
I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You gotta keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't think I want to know, quite frankly.
I don't see why Candice agreed to this match, JR. She should join us on commentary. She could sit on my lap, and we could talk about the first thing that pops up.
Folks, I've got to apologize for the King. I don't know what's gotten into him, but I bet it came in a little blue pill.
These superstars are beating the heck out of each other, and this crowd can't get enough of it.
It's what they paid to see, King, and they're getting their money's worth tonight.
They sure are, JR. There's no question these superstars are earning their paychecks. Is it just me? Or does the dead man seem a little off tonight?
I don't know what match you're watching, King, but the dead man looks as good tonight as when he first appeared in the WWE.
I'm not sure if it's your eyes or your brain that's shot, JR, but that's ridiculous. The Undertaker should quit now, while he can still retire with some dignity.
Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring.
This match is going to continue until someone's completely debilitated. And considering the resiliency of these superstars, that's not going to be easy.
That's for sure. No one in this match is going down without a fight.
And I wouldn't expect any less from them, King. These fans love confidence in their superstars. And that's just what they're seeing from him here tonight.
Well, he can do this until the cows come home, but that's not going to win.
You know, King, I'm not sure that Candice is all there most of the time. She seems a little, well, spacey to me.
That makes sense, JR. I think her ring attire might have been made on the move.
What a shot! I don't think that was ever meant to be used like that.
Come on, JR. Everything in WWE is meant to be used like that. I think these superstars...
Oh, man! That'll leave you hurting for certain.
You're not kidding, JR. That'll leave your head ringing for sure. You talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars have been going after each other.
They're not playing with kid gloves, that's for sure.
We knew we were going to see a heck of a match, but this might turn out to be... No. Go ahead and say it, JR.
All right, I will. I think this one's got all the makings of a bona fide slobber knocker.
You know, JR, everyone goes on and on about how great The Undertaker is, but I think he's overrated. It takes more than black lights and some dry ice to impress me.
How about a perfect record at WrestleMania, King? How about being a multiple-time WWE champion? Does that impress you?
Now, come on, JR. I'm not saying that the dead man doesn't have one or two impressive achievements to his name. I just think he's taken too seriously for a grown man who dresses like it's Halloween every day.
One or two? There's a reason they call him the Phenom, King. He's been one of the most dominant WWE superstars for his entire career. He came in at the top, and he stayed there ever since.
Well, The Undertaker might have had a pretty good ride, but I think it's only a matter of time before someone buries the dead man. Oh boy, these fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's gonna go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
You know, JR, it's obvious that the only I don't believe it! He just stole his opponent's finishing move! If any superstar shows the slightest hint of weakness, they've lost the match.
That's for sure. No matter how beat up you are, you can't ever let your opponent know the extent of your injuries.
And that's easier said than done, JR. The human body can only absorb so much punishment. Man, is there even going to be anything left of these superstars by the time they're done?
Not if they have their way, King. Everything they came in here with tonight is going to be left in that ring, mark my words.
I hope these fans appreciate it, JR. These superstars are putting it all on the line for them right here tonight.
No one's ever going to confuse Candice with a Mac tactician, but there's more to sports entertainment than knowing 100 different holds.
Yeah, but if Candice wanted to learn a few, I'd be more than happy to show her.
My, what a generous offer, King. And to think, some people say you're not a gentleman.
Wow! Listen to these fans, JR!
You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all the people some of the time, but there's no fooling the WWE fans at all.
You gotta respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
No question about it, King. Every superstar on the roster has had to make more sacrifices than any other professional athlete I know.
It really is like being married to your career. There's not much room for anything else.
And marriage is a subject which you happen to be something of an authority. Isn't that right, King?
Come on now, JR. A man doesn't know what true happiness is until he's married. And then it's too late. Can you believe we actually get paid to do this job, JR?
It's like a dream come true, King. Except when I have to sit here and listen to you drool over the Divas.
Come on, JR. You know I'm helpless when it comes to puppies.
Oh, I know, King. And that's why I'm bringing a pitcher of ice water out here with me next time. Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE.
Oh my gosh! He's got his opponent 10 feet in the air! JR, you know what's next?
The last ride! There's no move more feared in all of sports entertainment. I certainly question some of Candice's techniques from time to time, but there's no denying that she's got a fierce competitive spirit and some serious athletic ability.
Not to mention an incredible pair of legs. I wonder what time they open.
What an incredible performance by these phenomenal superstars.
Did you expect anything less, JR? I mean, look who's in the ring right now.
No, I didn't, King. I had high expectations, and I'm happy to say that this match
here's your winner, The Undertaker.